Welcome back, everybody, to another Mental Health Mondays. What's going on? We hope you're doing well. Before we get into it today, I'm going to give you our usual disclaimer. We are not medical professionals. We're just regular Joes who sharing our stories and that of our community. And we're just trying to help other people not feel alone, see that other people are going through similar things. If you are having really any serious problems and you need immediate help, dial 988 or seek medical attention in the appropriate places as soon as possible. And just remember, please be well, and we and the people in your lives love you. Okay? So, Maddie, let's check in. How you doing today, man?
Well, the last few days, my air conditioning has not been running as
Oh
efficiently as it
no.
should be.
Oh no.
It's very, even right now, it's very hot.
Oof.
But it could be hotter. I'm just whining at this point. It's like 85 inside, which that's not that hot, but it's uncomfortable. There's no breeze. But the air conditioning guys are coming. Like when this airs, they'll be coming just after it's over. I think,
Dude,
hopefully.
you need to get
Um,
like one of those like floor or not floor fans, but like table fans,
oh,
and just put it under your desk, aiming at your junk.
rocking
There
it
you
right
go.
now. It's Yeah, so it's been like our bedroom sits above our garage, and the
Oh,
garage, is just a hot box, and the heat just goes up into our room. So I've been
oh,
sleeping on the couch, which is like,
yeah, right.
but people have gone hundreds and thousands of years without air conditioning. I guess I can go a few days. It's
Very
okay.
fair, very fair, man. I
Now
I can tell you here it's been like 106, 107 the last couple of days.
it was 115 today.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
brutal.
Uh, since this is Mental Health Monday, we have a thing here in Phoenix where it gets so hot and our homeless population is growing.
Hmm.
Heat actually messes with people's minds. So
Yeah,
during this time of year, we have a lot of people start kind of going off the deep end more and more. And these are the times where people need more help. Because, I mean,
yeah.
unfortunately, like restaurants and stuff tend to kick people out.
Hmm.
They're unwanted. So there's really nowhere to hang out. And this time of year gets kind of depressing in the mental health department because you just see
Yeah.
it on the streets and it's just getting worse. So, I mean, like I said, I'm just whining about my little issue. It could be much worse.
No, definitely. And if you guys know, like I had the pleasure of knowing like a few like really like good quality people who happened to be homeless when I was living in downtown LA. If you guys know anybody who is a good person but just finds themselves in those difficult situations, offer them a little bit of help, man.
Yeah.
Even some money for getting into like a hotel for a night or something, like not a hotel, a motel or a
Yeah.
halfway house or something.
Get an
Uh,
air conditioned bed for a night.
yeah,
That's
it goes a
a
long
life
way.
changer for some people.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. So uh,
Yeah.
support the people that need it. And,
Well, diverting from that topic onto our topic at hand, I
yeah,
noticed, Sharif, throughout the last few weeks, you've been super stressed. So I reached out to you
yeah,
and you were
yeah.
like, thank you for reaching out. Sorry, it's not been so good. So I was like, okay, Mental Health Monday, Sharif's edition. So,
Yeah, I guess so. So it was what I love about people in this community really is again the supportiveness and the I don't know, like it just I can't pull my normal bullshit with you guys. And it was both you and Stevie that kind of like caught it. Like when I would put out my videos talking about my delays right now with the release of my knives, my own brand. Uh,
Kaimano from Manganese Steel.
yes, yes.
This is your episode. I'm gonna advertise it.
Yeah, it's fun.
So,
But both of you guys picked up, and usually, here's the thing, right? So I definitely have ADD. There's no question about it. I was diagnosed a long time ago, but I'm very good at kind of like managing it and working within it and all of that stuff. But one of the characteristics of ADD uh, is masking, and even though I may be going through like my own little personal hell at the moment, I generally don't show it, you know. And you and Stevie were the first ones almost ever in my life that really like saw right through it. um, which was shocking to me, like genuinely shocking. Most people don't pick up on it, and so either it's just getting to me too much, or I'm losing my skill set, one of the two. um, but the reason why I've been so stressed out is because uh, the theme for my life the basically last 2 weeks, I gotta say, and then a little bit even since I got back from Blade Show. I wouldn't say immediately. I mean, a lot of I injured myself on my way back from Blade Show. I got like severe tendonitis, severe cramps in my legs, and all of that stuff, and that didn't bother me so much. It was like, okay, whatever. Injury's an injury. I used to be an athlete. You just wait it out, and eventually it gets better. If it's not like a giant wound, or even then giant wounds like freaking heal, no biggie, right? But it was after that a lot of in my professional life, Mangana Steel launching life, even something as stupid as trying to go to the pew pew range to go have one day of relaxation this month where I could just go and enjoy myself. Everything was like one step forward, two steps back. And after weeks of this, it really started to get to me. Like I'm the type of person, and again, this comes a little bit with the ADD. I'm always a person who's trying to like forge ahead. Like, okay, I completed this. What's the next thing? Okay, I got this done. What's the next thing? I don't like to dwell too much in doing nothingness, and um, it's just kind of how I'm wired, that like, okay, this bright, like, how many times even have I shown you guys, like, oh, okay, I completed this design. I'm already working on the next one. And like, there's no need. I haven't even gotten to enjoy the last one, but I'm already moving on to the next thing. Um, that's just kind of how I'm wired. And a lot of times that drive is what pushes me to do and accomplish things. And when you start almost like hitting a soft wall, where you like hit it, you bounce back. You hit it, you bounce back. It's like it starts messing with the psychology a little bit,
yep.
because I'm not wired to wait too much for things,
I don't think a lot of us are.
Yeah, yeah, and like I tend to be impatient, and even in my driving, I'm an aggressive driver. A lot of times when I'm on my own, I'm looking for the most efficient way forward. always,
Oh,
not recklessly, obviously, but like the most efficient way forward constantly. So I got to this point where like, dude, okay, like with work, I was like submitting, proposals like for this and that. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, what about this? And it would get bounced back. I'm like, okay, I thought we were done with this. Okay, worked on this, worked on it, submitted it. Okay, well, what about this? What about that? And it just kept on getting like bounced back. And it's like, wait a second, like, are we starting to change the terms of things here? We're not making any progress. And then with the launch of the Kaimano, we're like a month after I wanted to release this thing now, and that started fucking with my head like hard because it's like, dude, my word is my bond to the community, and like I my word is super freaking important to me. Like I will always follow through on everything that I do, you know, without question. Just give me the time to do it, right? And I planned adequate time to do this stuff. And now these, whether it be my web developer dropping the ball or, having issues with Sezzle or having issues with like the invoicing system, which we're trying to work out now, it's just like, dude, I gave time for this and it's still not moving forward. And I was telling people like, oh, it's gonna launch around Blade Show, and here we are, like a month after Blade Show. It's like, ah, like, and I hate telling people this is the plan, and then having to tell them like, no, I was wrong. Be patient or wait. Like, no, I said this is when it was supposed to be. It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be this. So I don't know. Like I'm sure you guys can tell like the kind of tension that I felt about all of this stuff. Uh, and then, dude, just to like cap it off, last week, I drove my project car for the first time, and my knees are still kind of healing, you know, so I wanted to go to the Pew Pew range, and dude, it's like a good 40-minute drive to get there to the outdoor range that's close to me. And I said, okay, I'm sure I can do it one way. It's pretty open. It's like backcountry kind of like driving. So as I was getting out there, my legs were starting to kind of be a little irritated. I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm gonna get out there, set up my stuff at the 100-yard range. I'll be good to go and chill, and that'll give my legs a bit of a break. Get out there. No, they're closed for whatever reason. They're just closed. So I had to like immediately turn around and come back. And it's just like, dude, after everything, like, okay, now my legs are starting to bother me. I don't get the relaxation that I was planning on having for the day. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the cherry on the tiny little cherry on top of like all my other, like work life, knife life frustrations right now. It's just like, F this, man. Like, what the hell?
that is a lot to pile on in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, I try to make a point of like one day out of the week having a day of relaxation. I try, because usually my weekend, I'm either like recording videos, I'm trying to like help my dad out with things here and there, which is usually involves some degree of like manual labor in the backyard or, whatever, like going and doing things that take me away from my sort of like quiet time, uh, and yeah, like I haven't gotten like that one day since I got back from Blake show. So it's been a month. So that was like my one day where I was planning. I'm like, okay. So
Fate said, "Nope."
just yeah, exactly. Just the universe, whatever you want to call it, was just like, yeah, no. So, on the way home, um, I I don't go in for signs. Like like I don't think that there are like a lot of times like signs from the universe. Like I don't think that way, but I do have some knowledge about that of like symbology from ancient, not ancient, but American Indians. Really interesting. It's just stuff that my ADD brain has like absorbed. And what was really interesting was as I was driving back from the Pew Pew range, there was like an egret, which is like a white, kind of tall, thin bird. And I never see them. Like I see them once every like couple of years. But what's interesting is like the American Indians kind of see them as this like symbol of being solitary because they usually are. They don't like fly in packs. They're not like they're not like a flocking kind of bird,
Yeah,
And I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen one of you guys in like a long time, And it just made me start thinking about like solitariness and solitude, And that that brought me to kind of where I've been for like the last like week or so, which is like one of the things that I don't like to do, but I found has been a, I guess you could say like healthy practice in dealing with situations like this is like in life, if you want to use life as kind of an allegory for a game, right? Like you sit here, the powers that be sit here, you make your moves, the world kind of makes moves and shifts around you and you respond and, take different positions. The game can only progress forward if you sit down and play it. And a lot of people don't think about the option that you have to sometimes get up and step away from the game, for sometimes, Uh, another way of putting this is taking a step back from things, you know, and not engaging and letting things just kind of evolve. Because sometimes when you keep pushing things forward, you keep on getting to this one step forward, two steps back sort of thing. And it just seems to perpetuate. It keeps on repeating. So sometimes, at least I've found um, that sometimes if you just disengage, you say, you know what, I need a break from the game, hit pause, get up, take a breather, go walk around the room, as it were, in this like analogy, you know, um, that helps, you know.
yeah,
So, that's why, for example, like, I haven't been on the lives, in the last week, really. Like, I popped into to set for a bit, but I wasn't on Maddie's or Stevie's lives. I haven't been posting anything. It's just I said, you know what? I'm gonna operate on the bare minimum that I need to do to maintain my responsibilities. But aside from that, I'm just not going to engage. And that's sometimes, you know what, like that's the times that I'll try and do like maintenance things in my life, things that aren't trying to move the ball forward, but maybe things that I've neglected. Like today, I took out one of my pews from the safe, and I just sat and I cleaned it. It needed to be cleaned. It had been a while, and that's it. You know, didn't change the dynamics of anything. Didn't change the kind of progress of any of my projects. But okay, just it needed to be done. It wasn't like neglected, but I had probably put a few hundred rounds through it without cleaning it. It'll give me some zen time to like scrub something,
Yeah.
um, and that brings me a little bit of peace, during like these periods of where it's like, bro, like there's nothing that I'm doing to move the ball forward.
Sometimes you're in a situation where you can't move the ball forward.
Yeah.
It'll move when it wants. I mean, you can't force your website to just all of a sudden poof, it works perfect.
Man,
You gotta wait on an outside source. And you're trying to push on that, and it ain't gonna budge until it's ready.
I want to be like Homer Simpson with Bart, just like work.
I know. But it's good for you to take a break, a little step back a little bit.
If I don't, my mental health will only just get worse, because uh, I'm just going to keep cycling back to the same issues, and just be like, okay, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? And it just breeds panic and anxiety, and yeah, like I said, sometimes just pushing back from the table, standing up, And by the way, I found this to be a good solution, by the way, guys, for like a lot of situations, right? Like if you're having trouble or you have somebody who's like antagonistic that you have a relationship with, right? Like if you literally say, well, I'm not playing the game. They're waiting for you to make the move so they can respond and be antagonistic towards you and stuff like that. But if there's nobody for them to play against, they have nobody to be antagonistic with, So
Yeah.
I realized that can apply to life. If you feel like life is being a little antagonistic towards you, if you just stop engaging with whatever it is, for a little while, and you focus your life on some other stuff for a minute, you can come back and you have like fresh eyes, you have a clear mindset, so I gotta thank the crazy girl that helped me realize that.
Oh, that's good. And sometimes it's not your move to make yet. This website, that your biggest frustration, it's not your move to make yet. You gotta wait on this guy, and you know what?
Yeah.
It's gonna be ready when it's supposed to be ready.
Yeah.
Your knife's gonna sell out. There's no question about it.
Well, and see, that's also part of what stresses me out, because it's like my number one concern is, like I said, trust. My word is my bond. So if I say something's going to be somewhat like a certain way, and it's not, that erodes trust. That erodes people's ability to believe what I have to say in the future. And even if things are outside of my sphere of control, right, the buck still stops with me. Like I need to have the foresight and the planning to, you know, prevent those things in the future. At least that's the burden I put on myself. Um, so I don't know. For me, part of the anxiety comes from every single day that I don't deliver and I delay, or every time I have to say, oh, there's this delay or that delay. That's one more person, at least one more person who maybe feels like they can't trust what I have to say. That's what stresses me out.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's the case at all. I liken your situation to, like, say, SpaceX. They
Okay.
say they're going to launch Falcon 9 on like April 12th at 7:10, but then boom, flock of geese. Now they have to launch on, April 23rd. And then all of a sudden, storm. Now they're going to launch on May 7th. It's like,
Yeah.
it's going to happen. Everyone knows it's going to happen, but things outside your control also
Yeah.
happens.
It's
There's no lack of trust in those launches. They know it's going to happen. It's just like,
yeah.
sure, people are like, "Oh, okay, we'll wait." But when it happens, everyone's like, yes.
Yeah. I
And I
hope
think that's more like what your situation's going to be.
I hope so, and I hope other people feel that way. Cause like if I was them, like I would be the type of person, like if I was SpaceX, right? Like I'd worry about the person who took time off to come see the launch and like paid for their travel and it's just I'm that kind of person, and like maybe I worry or I concern myself too much, but I don't know. Like I hope more people think like you.
I
Uh,
know it. Nobody has texted me and been like, man, Sharif, that POS lied to me again.
yeah,
People are like, oh man, I hope the website guy gets it going because I really want to buy it. They're excited. They want that launch. But they know sometimes there's a flock of geese, the weather. FAA steps in and says, not today, buddy.
oh,
But
that
I
FAA.
know it's going to happen. As you can tell, I love science and SpaceX,
Yes, of course.
but that's what you are right now. You're just you're postponing due to things outside of your control, but it's gonna happen.
It definitely will happen. Hell or high water, it will definitely happen.
So you
Uh,
just need to focus on that part, not like, oh,
uh,
another day, another delay. No, just it's gonna happen. Your
yeah,
piano will be in people's hands before you know it. And at that moment, you realize it wasn't so bad. Everyone's happy.
yeah, I get it. It's so funny because like I hear it, I want to believe it, and then there's that other part of my brain which is always wired to like worst case scenario. It's so funny as you're saying this, right? Like we talked about going to uh Blade Show West, right? And so I did the math on it and I was like, okay, I basically need to place my order with Kaiser to for the OEMing by July, like at least middle of July, right? In order for them to ship me the order and for me to potentially have some for Blade Show West if I want to have a booth. So it's like, okay, now that's the new worry, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, it'll sell, but okay, if it sells, will it be quick enough? Or will I have to, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just again
You know
my
what? I wouldn't even worry about the booth. I honestly feel like this is just an opinion, but I feel like you're not going to have any to take to Blade Show West. You're going to put that pre-order up, and they're going to be gone. You're not going to have any.
Yeah, I mean, and truth be told, I mean, worst case scenario, if well, no, because I wouldn't keep the pre-order going until August or until October. That's too long. I was gonna say, worst case scenario, I could at least do a self-promotional table where it's like, hey, I exist. Here are my prototypes. No, you can't order them. They already sold out.
And see, that might be something. See, maybe that could solve that frustration. Just get a table anyway.
Yeah.
You might have knives to put on it. You might not.
Yeah.
Either way, it don't matter. Your knives are going to be in people's hands.
That I hope so,
It's going
man.
to be glorious.
This is kind of like the the backside things that people definitely don't talk about for those people who are launching, their own brands. We're doing it as like a passion, like it's really, really hard to not worry about every single detail. That's why, by the way, like I go so hard against people who seem to be doing it as like a cash grab kind of thing, you know, because it's like, bro, like this is something that should be a passionate pursuit, you know, and people are trusting you with their money, with their lives, like these knives ain't cheap that we deal with, and that's why trust is such a big thing, right? Because like think how much you can do in your life with 245 $265, right? Like you can do a lot. For people to put that trust in me and to say, dude, you are doing so compelling, or making something so compelling that I'm entrusting you with this from my life that I've put my blood, sweat, and tears to earn. Like that means something to me.
Yeah, and it
You know
should.
what I mean?
And that's why people trust you. You have
I
that
hope
passion.
so,
They
man.
want
Like
to give you that money. And they
it's
do it willingly with a smile.
I like I said, I hope so. And like I don't know, like I'm tearing up from what I just said right now, but like I genuinely feel that way. Like it's like I'm not like I'm in a comfortable position in my life right now, but I haven't always been. You know what I mean? Like I know, but like not like I okay, weird or not weird, but like kind of anecdote from like my previous one of my previous stages of my life. Like money was so tight for me at one point in time, after I left the house, or left, my parents, that like I used to smoke cigarettes, and I had this like big fat nasty ashtray where I would just like put all my cigarettes out. There was a period of time where I was like digging in my ashtray for butts because I couldn't afford to buy cigarettes. I had to choose between cigarettes and food. And I have a pretty wicked nicotine addiction, and having to dig through your own ashtray, which if you guys have ever smoked, is disgusting to begin with, um, but just to get butts that you can light up for like 2 seconds for like a puff or two, because money is so tight. Like that's rough, bro. Like,
Just to get that hit.
yeah, yeah. Like, and even having to decide, like, okay, I have so much money. If I buy like a case of ramen noodles, which has like no nutritional value, but I can at least get that and make my stomach feel full, but that will allow me to buy like a 3.99 pack of smokes. like, like, yeah, like I've been in that place, and you know, that's why, like, again, people entrusting their money with me is not something I take fucking lightly at all, because like I know not everybody is as comfortable as I am in my current situation, and I have the benefit of being single, never married, don't have any children, don't have any alimony or child support payments, none of that stuff. So like everything I own is for me. It's a very like self-indulgent existence, but I haven't ever forgotten being without. Like not for a single moment or day. And that's why that trust is so important to me, because I know people have got obligations. They have, children, they have responsibilities, and to put that trust in me, it means something. It really does. So that's why
Yeah.
I freak out about it. That's why I stress out as much as I do, because like, uh,
Well,
yeah.
I know the common thing is, don't stress about it. You know, you're gonna, but don't stress about it.
Yeah.
That's what everyone tends to say. Don't stress about it, but you're gonna. But what are some steps that you are gonna take to alleviate some of this stress for you?
No, like realistically, like I said, the biggest thing that I do is like I try to just step back and disengage. And what that entails is like, okay, in my free time, I go out of my way to not think about it, you know? Like, okay, I'll play some video games, or like I was saying earlier, I haven't cleaned one of my pews in a while. I'll take that out, do some maintenance. Uh, as you may see, like I have my shelf here. The shelf wasn't here before; it was over in the other corner. So rearrange my space. You know, uh, just do like life maintenance things,
Yeah,
uh, and I'll try to do things that are enjoyable. So yeah, driving to the range was a little frustrating because I was starting to get a little discomfort in my legs, but I did get to drive my project car the other day, you know,
that's some good
and
right there.
yeah, and so like that brought back some joy and enjoyment, because I was like, oh man, I haven't driven this thing in like over a month, you know. It's been sitting there, started right up, let the engine warm over, and just kind of, reminded myself why I love the thing, you know.
Yeah,
And so I was like, oh, okay, this gives me something else to think about, or like, um, again, another thing, like one of my pews has a funny problem. It goes into full auto without me wanting to.
oh,
Yeah, it's not supposed to. And so, okay, I ordered some parts to replace what could be the cause. I'm trying to track down the gremlins of it. So, like, those parts came this weekend. So, took the whole thing down, started like working on it, kind of like a puzzle, and say, okay, let me inspect this. Let me take a look at this. Oh, it may be that. Replace this, replace that. Just engage with something else other than what is the source of my stress.
take a step back.
Yeah, yeah. And just do my best to not worry or hyper focus on the thing that's the source of my stress, you know?
Yeah,
Um, and like work, the my day in, day out work, like there's nothing I can do about that. Just kind of put my head down and do what's asked of me, and that's it. But like when it comes to launching things, like I'm never been a much of a person for like Jesus take the wheel. But in this kind of case, like that's the best way to put it. It's like whatever it's going to be. I'm not in control of the direction right now. I'm just a passenger in the situation. You know, until I can be back in the driver's seat, I gotta accept being a passenger at this point. And like that acceptance is hard, but it's important. You know,
yeah. I think that's one of the best things you can do in this case.
yeah,
Everything's out of your hands on this.
yeah,
You-
yeah. You know, so
And
uh,
I think it's gonna be worth it. You're
I
gonna
hope,
come out of this a little bit more patient
yeah,
with a little bit more skill set on how to deal with the stress, because this ain't gonna be your first launch.
No, definitely not. And here to what you were just saying, by the way, that is a beautiful thing, right? Like through every frustration, through every setback is a learning opportunity, you know? So like, okay, if I gave things a month, next time I'm giving it 2 months, you know?
Yeah,
Like that's an important thing for me to realize. Like, okay, like I am not gonna say I'm able to launch, you know, like until like 2 months from when I was planning on, setting the date. Just that's a learning that's like a lesson that I took away from this. You know,
or
uh,
just use the industry standard TBD.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
You don't
exactly,
even give a time until you have all your ducks in a row.
yeah.
And then there's no stress there. It's just whenever it happens, it happens.
Yeah, and that was the thing, right? Like I was like TBD. Okay, it should be like a month from now, and then yeah, now it's like 2 months from now. But that's okay. If that's what it's got to be, that's what it's got to be. You know what I mean? Like
And that's what it's got to be.
yeah,
You
and
know,
that
everyone spent their money at Blade Show anyway.
is true. It's true. I definitely did.
I
But
think it's
the
going to launch when it's supposed to.
yeah, that's the thing for me at least is like through every frustration there is something you can learn and take away from it, regardless of how frustrating that lesson is to learn. If you can't walk away from a frustrating situation and take away something from it, I don't think you're doing your due diligence in the situation. You know,
Oh.
so
And every time someone prays for patience or any kind of thing, you don't get patience. You get the opportunity to, grow in it and test
yeah.
it.
Dude, you're like the second or like third person who said exactly that. Like, you pray for patience, you don't get patience, you get a situation where you have to develop your own patience, right?
Yeah.
You pray for courage, you don't get courage, you get a situation where you can you know, be courageous, and that's really funny. I swear, you're like the
Yeah.
second or third person I've heard that from in like the last week, you
It's
know?
true, though. And honestly, it's the best way to get it.
Mhm.
I mean, if someone gave you $100, you're going to spend it willy nilly. But if you earned $100, you're going to be a little bit more tough on yourself with that $100.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
You're gonna,
fundamentally,
you're
that's
gonna gauge where you're gonna spend that money. You might even hold on to it.
oh, yeah. Oh, god.
Patience earned is way better than patience given,
Yeah,
and I think you're in your moment now. So how is Sharif gonna come out of this?
yeah. Definitely with more foresight, more patience, definitely planning ahead differently, you know,
Yeah,
uh, for
and you know
situations
what?
like this.
This is your first launch, and if honestly this is the worst part, just being delayed a few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, you got it. You're on easy street, my friend. At the end of the day, just waiting a few weeks is no big deal.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like I don't. It's so funny. I'm definitely a lot harder on myself than reality, for sure. I
Yeah,
know that. Uh, as you said, like it could be so much worse than this. You know,
yeah.
but
Just every time you have to wait, we have to wait, so we're all in it together.
true, true. And I appreciate that. Like I appreciate everybody being. You can't imagine how much it means to me the number of people who said, "Yeah, dude, like, don't worry, we understand." The kind messages that I've gotten from people saying, like, "Dude, don't worry about it. we'll be here, like,
Exactly. You know what? I hope you're awake tomorrow because we're filming this Sunday night. I hope you're awake tomorrow when this goes, live, so you
mm,
can watch all the comments on the side show up. And I bet you people are gonna be like, "You don't mind waiting? What's another month or two? Who cares?"
dude.
You're gonna see a lot of, "I want that Kaimano." It's all gonna be good stuff.
Yeah. I like I said, I really hope so. And I think my 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 hope is that, when it finally does happen and people get it in their hands, they're genuinely happy with it. Because it's a labor of love,
They're
uh,
gonna be.
it's not something I do lightly, by any means. Um, So actually, it's so funny. Part of even why I moved the shelf over here was to like open up space so I can do like a little like packaging and like QC area like directly behind me. Like I'm already planning ahead for when they get delivered.
That's a good thing to do. Prepare for the future while you wait for the present.
It's true. Yeah. Like it's funny. Like I had to stop myself the other day from buying something, because I was like, oh, wait, I need to get a label printer. Oh, man, the label printer that Lefty told me to get is like $300, which is crazy for a label printer, I'm like, okay, don't buy this, don't buy that. You got to put money aside for the label printer now. And I'm like,
Stevie
okay,
uses a good one for like $100.
yeah. I $300 is crazy, man.
You already
Lefty's
bought it, didn't you?
no, I
Okay.
haven't figured yet.
Talk to Stevie first.
Okay, yeah, because dude, $3 for a label printer is crazy, and
His
like,
probably has Timascus buttons.
right? Like, Lefty, you balling, dude. Like,
Oh man, I love Lefty.
yeah, man,
He likes that primo stuff.
he does. And don't get me wrong, I do too, but not everything needs to be extremely premium to like the nth degree, dude. Like, it just sometimes a label printer is just a label printer, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Well, I like that you're getting ready for it.
I'm trying to like, and
It's
that's
gonna happen.
when I even talk about like planning ahead. Like I'm thinking 3-4 months from now. Like That's why I was already thinking about like Table Blade Show West. Having a QC station, getting the label printer because like I I I I do think like several moves ahead, and so when I have the moves ahead planned and strategized, but I'm like stuck back here, and it's like I
Yeah.
can't move towards the next step. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
bro.
It'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's at this stage, I just got to have faith and keep doing what I need to be doing on my end. And that's it, you
Yeah.
know,
Just step back and enjoy life for a minute.
trying to.
Pretty soon you'll be complaining about stuffing all those mailboxes and printing
Yeah,
labels and stressing about if you got the right address, and that part's gonna be nuts. You're gonna need help.
dude. No, I have like a good system because like I have packed and shipped things before, but I have a pretty good system in mind. Like invoice shipping label, just lay them out and then put the corresponding box on each one, you know?
Okay.
And
You're even thinking out that far.
yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you're ready to do that 300 times.
Yeah, that I definitely am.
Okay. Because it's going to happen.
And
One of
I'm
these days, you're going to wake up and that rocket's going to be ready to go and nothing's going to be in its way.
yeah, dude. That's God, man, that's the hope. That's the
Yeah.
hope.
It's going to be sooner than you think.
Dude, just pray that there's no more like little things in between and like I said, like you said, just try to enjoy life. I'm actually even trying to like see if there's any like car events, like get together, so I can like see some people socially. Because that's the thing, even for me, like I don't maintain like a huge social group out here right now. Like since I moved to like this new area, and so like okay, I haven't gone and I haven't seen other people in a little while. Let me
Yeah.
try and do that. Let me try and, do something away from the knife community for like a weekend, so that I can like take a break, come back with like fresh eyes.
See, there you
Uh,
go.
yeah, just working on it little by little. But dude, still hasn't stopped me. Maddie and I were just talking, just designed this like weird, crazy guy.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, maybe, and that's even like something that's helping me is like coming up with a new design like this, and then trying to decide should I do this under my own brand or should I license this? You know, could be cool. If I licensed it, let somebody else make it. We'll see.
Now you have those tough choices to make.
Yeah, you know. If
Hmm.
I make it, it probably won't get made till next year. But if I license it, could come out as early as like January, February.
Oh,
That could be cool. You
okay.
know,
Hmm.
but I already got the next like 4 Mangana Steel models planned. So
I know that's gonna be cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm going so hard on this one. Make sure the first one is done, and then the other ones will come. They'll be what you call it. They'll be smoother, or that's the hope. You
You'll have
know.
you'll have the process streamlined by number two.
Yeah,
You
that
always struggle on the first because you don't
yeah,
know what you're doing.
true. Very true.
That's
Very
where you're
true.
at right now.
Well, hey man, I don't want to like beat a dead horse, and keep like repeating myself. But I think you guys, those of you guys who tuned in to watch, like I guess the theme for me on this one has been just like sometimes it's worthwhile to like take a step back. Like the analogy I used earlier of like I like to think of it kind of like a chess game, like you're playing, and you can scale this from playing against another person to playing against the universe, like we are uh, we are driven people to like move our pieces forward in the sense that we like to be in control of our own destiny, but we also have to be responsive to whatever we get back, be it from another person or again from the universe at large. And sometimes getting up and stepping away from the game actually helps, and a lot of people don't realize that that is an option, you
Hmm.
know and taking that step back actually helps you to recenter and refocus, so don't be afraid of doing that. I'm doing that actively right now, and Maddie and I discussed this, and he's been really encouraging, to just be like, yo, dude, just take your time, do what you need to do, you know. So yeah, just consider it an option. Maybe you never thought about it before, but sometimes it's what you need to do, you know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us guys like to be in charge and keep going until the job's done.
Right.
Sometimes you can't.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you're learning. I'm proud of you, Sherif. You got this. But before you end it,
Yes.
next week, which will be the 10th, I think. Let me check. Me and Sherif are thinking about actually doing this live. So you guys can, if you want to come on, you can. If you want to send us some questions, we're thinking about doing a Q&A and stuff. You can message us some questions that we can answer on the show, or whatever. But we're thinking about just doing it live.
Yeah.
Interacting and
let us know if you're interested in that. For those of you who are comfortable, you can come join us. You can hop in the chat and throw out questions. But if
no cameras required.
Yes,
you can do it like this if you want.
Yeah, very true. And if you guys want to be anonymous and don't want to put your personal questions into the chat, you can always I suggest submit them to Maddie or myself, beforehand, and we can address them. We'll kind of put them together and bring them up during the live. So if you want to kind of lurk and
if you have a good anonymous question, email it. I think would be best because it might get buried in Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I'll put mine and Sherif's email down in the description.
There you go.
But that'll be fun. Next week, I think it'll be live.
Yeah,
but there is wiggle room for it to not be live. We'll see, but I think it'll mostly be live.
Yeah, let us know.
What's wrong? A flock of birds or something.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys are down, we'll definitely do it. So, but yeah, wiggle room. Leave some wiggle room.
All right, Sherif, you want to close us out like usual?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you again for joining us for another Mental Health Mondays. Thank you for listening to this guy babble on about his first world problems. But remember, we are not medical professionals. We're just regular Joes just trying to share our stories and that of our community at large. We are trying to help people not feel alone and see that other people are going through the same sort of things. If you are having any problems and you need help, please either dial 988 or seek immediate medical attention. We are not qualified for that. So get with the right people who can help you. Please be well, and remember, people love you.
And we'll catch you next